We live? We are live. All right, people, what's good? All right, today I want to talk about a sale is made on every single enrollment sales call, whatever you call it, breakthrough call, strategy session, whatever you call it. Sale is made on every call, whether they sign up or they don't sign up. So what do I mean by this? It's really simple. Basically, either you sell them, enroll them into your program, or they sell you and enroll you on why they can't sign up. I always tell my clients, don't get sold. Don't get sold on their limiting beliefs, on their patterns, on the reasons why they think they can't do it. And what happens is you end up getting sold. And there's a couple of reasons, because there's a few things that happen during the calls that you don't call out most of the time. Most people don't. They might sense something is off. They might sense an incongruency. They might sense a limiting belief. And you have to be able to call those out and smash it. Because if you don't handle limiting beliefs, if you don't handle incongruencies, then at the end, it's going to be some excuse. It's going to be, I don't have the money, I need to think about it, I need the spouse. Most of the time, those aren't real. Like 90% of the time, they're smoke screens because they don't feel that you can help them, because you haven't handled unspoken objections. And you haven't called out those patterns so they can have a shift in the call. Because if they don't have a shift in the call and they don't realize, oh my goodness, I am doing that. Oh wow, I do that. And then when you ask them questions like, how are you ever going to get past it if you're never willing to whatever they need to overcome? Whether it's a procrastination pattern, whether it's a pattern of they're not feeling worthy, like investing in, whether they think they don't trust themselves. They don't think they think it worked for everyone else, but not them. But you never hear these things. You just hear, that's too much money. You just hear, well, I need to think about it. It's a big decision. And it's just them shutting down, right? There's ways to handle objections and sit in the pocket with them. But if you don't do the stuff ahead of time on the call, it's almost impossible. You're just spinning in loops. And that's why I say sometimes if you get really good at handling the objections without doing the stuff earlier in the call, all you get is more objections, because they just keep throwing you things and you keep handling it, and then they just go, look, I'm not doing it, you can't make me. So the goal is not to get great at handling objections. The job is to get great at preventing them, handling them before they come up. Because what's the most deadly objection? I always ask this. People say, oh, it's this one. No, it's the unspoken one, the one that you never hear. You hear, everything's great, I just need to move some money around, or I just need to think about it, I just need to talk to this person, and then they're gone. And you have no idea. That's why everything you need to learn is in the calls. If you can go back to the calls and listen back, where are any incongruencies? Where what they're saying is one thing, they're saying one thing, but their action, the congruency of speech and action isn't lining up. Right? I really want it, I'm a 10, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. That's an incongruency. If they stop blaming other people, right? It depends on what your offer is. If you work with someone in relationships, they're always saying, oh, the other person's a narcissist. They treated me horribly. They had this, and this. But yet they stay in the relationship with these people for 4 or 5 years. And it still didn't leave. The other person broke up with them. So it's like you have to call out those patterns. Why would you stay with someone that treated you like that you knew wasn't a good person, you knew was a narcissist? Why did you allow that to happen? Or however you want to phrase it, but we have to unpack these things. And whose responsibility is it to get past this, right? So getting them to own their shit, basically, right? And getting them to be able to realize that these things are not going to slide. I'm not going to let this slide. So when you're doing that all along the call and you're challenging them about these limiting beliefs and these things, they're having shifts, then when you get to the part of the objection, you can handle it. You can sit in the pocket with them. And if you can relate it back to a pattern they do earlier, like if they're always procrastinating, they're always putting things off, of course they want to think about it. Of course they want to sleep on it. Of course that's just their natural pattern. And their patterns of what they're doing where they are now is just going to keep them where they've been, right? So the hardest part for them is to be able to think from the place, make decisions from the place of the person who has the outcome, right? So it's not to the person who is 100 pounds overweight starts making decisions like someone who's fit, that eventually it will catch up. And it's the same thing. Someone who makes two grand a month processes the decisions differently than someone that makes 20 grand a month. So if you're thinking with the $2,000 a month mindset, you're never going to get to 20 grand. So the tricky part is to think from that mindset before you're there. so you can start making decisions. Because I'm sure you guys have heard that if you took all the money in the world, you distributed it evenly, everyone would be rich, right? But 3, 4, 5 years, all the money would go back to the way it is now. That's why, like, if you know people that win the lottery, they end up getting even broker than they were before they won it. Why? Well, they had horrible money management skills. They didn't learn anything about how to handle money. So they end up blowing it all and becoming broker than they were before they got it. So it's no different. When people are in bad relationships, if they keep making decisions from that perspective, they're going to keep getting crappy things. It's not until you can get them to have that first shift to realize they are worth it. That if they don't go in on themselves, they don't bet on themselves, who is? Nobody is, right? Anyway, very powerful to know that don't get sold on their stories, on their bullshit. And then also the 200% certainty you need to have. You need 100% certainty about how you can help them and what you do. And then you need 100% certainty that they can borrow from you because they're scared and not sure. So you have to be super confident. That's why when you're talking about your program, that's why you're talking about the price. You can't be, you can't do that. You have to be certain. You have to practice it. If you can't do it, if you can't talk about your program in a way where you're not stuttering, where you can know what you're going to pause, say it with certainty. Listen back. At any moment, you're either conveying one of two things, certainty or uncertainty. And if you're stuttering and going, you're conveying uncertainty. And when people aren't certain, they don't buy. That's it. Anyway, what time is it? Oh, I went a little bit longer today. Cool. All right. Any questions, any topics you want me to do? I've been doing those little short videos. Getting a lot of comments, people liking them, and messages on it. So any specific topics you want me to go over, drop them in here. Let me know. Send me a message, whatever. If you're shy, just send me a message. But either way, let me know. And I want to pump out more content. I'm feeling better. I was just sick last week. I had this sinus infection. It was horrible. I'm feeling better now, but it still sound a little stuffy. Anyway, all right, freaks. Have a great night. It's Saturday night. And let me know. Message below if you have the guts and to give me a topic you want me to go over. I'd love to be able to create more content for you guys. All right. See ya. Bye.